Cameron Hayward said the "Believe" T-shirt, a reference to the show Ted Lasso he wore after the Pittsburgh Steelers' win over the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday, was chosen for comfort ahead of a cross-country flight. The 34-year-old team captain then paused a brief moment and added, "I chose it for a reason." If you've seen Ted Lasso, you know what the reference means. But in this case, believe could have a completely different meaning, as in believing in your teammates. What Mason Rudolph has accomplished in 2 games is something that not even the most avid Steelers fan could have dreamed up. He has galvanized a team that seemed to be rusting from the inside out. 2 weeks ago, this group seemed like a lost cause. Now, it looks brand new, like the best-looking car on the block. "We have an opportunity," Hayward said. "2 weeks ago, you could say that we were miles away." Yes, the Steelers believe in Rudolph after his second straight spectacular performance on Sunday at Lumen Stadium in a 30-23 win over the Seahawks. If they didn't, coach Mike Tomlin wouldn't have gone with Rudolph over Kenny Pickett, who said this week he felt healthy enough to play if called upon, as the starter. And Rudolph now has the Steelers within striking distance of a highly unlikely playoff appearance. If the head coach thought Rudolph was a one-hit wonder last week against the Bengals but was left no choice but to start him, the QB proved him wrong. Facing a playoff-caliber team in a must-win game in a city where the Steelers hadn't won since 1983, Rudolph put all that doubt to bed. But what nobody could have predicted is the effect Rudolph would have on the entire team. For the first time all year, the Steelers believe. There's that word again, and let's face it, with Pickett and Mitch Trubisky as the quarterbacks before, they didn't believe. And when I say they, I mean the trouble triplets of Najee Harris, Diontae Johnson and George Pickens. On Sunday, Harris had 122 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, Johnson had 76 yards receiving and Pickens had 131. In 2 games with Rudolph at QB, Pickens is averaging 163 yards per game. Those 3 were vocal in their displeasures in one form or another throughout the season. And without coming out and saying it, it mostly had to do with the quarterback not getting him the ball in some form or fashion. With Harris, he had an issue with the offensive coordinator, but the other 2 were frustrated because of the quarterback, whether it was Pickett or Trubisky. It all had a trickle-down effect, and it spread like a disease in the locker room. Players were pouting, upset and half-arsing it. Frankly, it seemed like a toxic work environment. Former Steelers cornerback William Gay once told me, "Winning cures cancer." He could have chosen his words better, but that's neither here nor there. In this case, making the Divas happy has cured everything. Rudolph has changed all that. And trust me, it's not because of the story or some kind of rah-rah speech. It's because he's getting them the ball and allowing them to be successful. Just us playing together, right tackle Broderick Jones said. I feel like everybody is on the same page, everybody is bringing with him, so if you've got that, then it's hard to stop us. Go ahead and talk about the execution or the play calling or the backs against the wall mentality all you want. But this team's 2-week turnaround, from being a laughingstock with calls to fire everybody to a 41. %5 chance, which would climb over 70% with a win over the Ravens, who have nothing to play for, next week, to make the postseason, was spurred by the confidence that no. Two will put them in position to be successful. It just comes down to playing for the guys to your left and guys to your right, linebacker Nick Herbig said. It feels different, just like I said earlier, just the guys coming together, the camaraderie, Pickens said. I've been on a team where camaraderie wins championships, so guys coming together for sure. Quote,